Hello. Uh, Now we're at the last part of our tour in the Lakes Distillery, and I'm here with
Grace.
Grace. Grace is together with Sarah Burgess. You're responsible for the blending of all the different barrels, yes?
Correct, yes.
So could you tell us how does that work? What do you do?
So, in a nutshell, because it's very, very complicated, and I'm still learning myself, we have the whiskey studio that's here behind us, and this is the main area for all of our sensory analysis. So this is where that process starts.
Yes.
So we first have our new make spirit, and I'm checking that on a daily basis for consistency and for the same quality that we want day in, day out. And then, of course, when we're filling into casks, after 3 years, normally around 4 or 5 years, we're starting to actively look at those casks, and we're starting the process of élevage and blending.
Yeah.
So élevage, again in a nutshell, is moving whiskey between different casks in order to layer different flavours and to create complexity.
Yes.
So we might select, out of 10 casks that are all similar spec, we might select 5 of those because of a particular vanilla note, let's just say. And then we might move those with another 2 casks that might have a note that will elevate those vanilla notes.
Oh, now I get the name.
And then we move those into a different type of casks that can then bring a complete different flavour dimension. So that's one example of an élevage step, but at the same time as that, we've got 20, 30 other components that we're working on.
Yeah.
And then through blending, we start to bring those different flavour components together to create the layers of flavour and the complexity that we find in all of our products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the new make spirit is always the same. Is that
at the moment it is. At the moment,
that's a consistent thing, and it's 3 different yeast strains.
Yeah.
Really unusual for me to. I know of people that are beginning to experiment with yeast strains. Are you going to experiment with more yeast strains in the future?
Yeah. So we've already started. So 2 weeks ago we did a trial with completely different yeast strains from a different supplier than our normal.
Yeah.
We've got another trial, I think, in the next 2 weeks, and we're in talks with a few more suppliers for other trials as well.
Okay.
Reasons why we're wanting to do these trials, we're trying to elevate the fruit characteristics that we're getting now.
Yes.
So we want more fruits and we want more defined fruit layers. So we're looking to yeast to do that first, and then we might tweak other parameters. But at the same time, we're wanting to look at completely different new make styles. So like you said, we're only doing 1, but actually in the future, if we do 3, so if we did fruity cereal, nutty spicy, and a sulphury, because of course we've got our stainless steel condensers, that would give us more to play with when it gets to the matured stock stage. So when we come through to blending, we've got even more flavours to play with. But we're still all in the trials of that. So yeast we're looking at now, and then once we've come to look at yeast, then we might tweak other parameters to enhance that.
And for our watchers, when Grace just said they're blending, that's the word which turns many of you off. It's not a blend, it's a single malt, and all single malts are blends, basically, unless it's just from one cask. So what Grace is telling us here is blending the different types of casks together in one distillery, so it's always a single malt, even if you use 1,000 casks, just for your information. So yeah, blending, and you've got loads of different casks to put. STR, do you use any STR at all?
No, traditionally no. I think we had some when we first started.
Yeah.
But that was back before I was here.
Yeah.
But I think we did have some SDRs, but they were definitely not the bulk of our casks.
Okay.
We're predominantly Well, we're sherry based, of course, so a lot of different sherry casks, but predominantly Oloroso.
Yes.
We do have some PX, and we have had some Fino and some Manzanilla, some more unusual, non-classical sherries.
Yeah.
But predominantly we're Oloroso. And we do have bourbons make up a good chunk of our élevage process as well.
Okay.
So there's lots of different cask influence.
All right. And it would be American and European oak casks.
Yeah.
And no other exotic types of oak casks?
No, not at the moment. Again, that might change. Sarah's got lots of new ideas. So maybe we might have some more adventurous cask types in the future.
Yeah.
But at the moment we haven't.
Yeah. And the so you're getting this core range together with you're doing your distillers editions, and then there's going to be a moment in time when you say we've hit the sweet spot, and then that's going to be a number of different ages, or
I don't know is the honest answer. At the moment we've got a Whiskey Maker's Reserve, so of course we've got numbers 1 up until 6 at the moment.
Yeah, tested them all.
Yeah, so if that becomes a more permanent skew, like you're saying, I think there's definitely room for a permanent skew. So we'd have a permanent product that would stay that consistent product over the years. I think there's room for that. Of course, we haven't got one at the moment.
No.
But I think there's definitely still room for more of our additions. We have the benefit of quite a few different cask types, and actually the additions allow us to make lots of different bottlings that are quite adventurous. And they're quite different from our house style. So in a way, they're quite a nice way of translating those differences without it being completely overwhelming for the consumer. Okay. But I don't know, is the honest answer.
Okay. Well, peated, have you ever thought of doing any peated?
We've done one trial of peated malt.
Okay.
Only, I think, 7 mashes worth.
Okay.
So that's still mature in stock. So in the future we might be doing a release, but it was only really low phenol, so it was only 5 ppm.
Oh, brilliant.
So
good on you.
If we use it, it'll only be a slight smoky element.
Just a little backbone of it, yeah. Lovely. Good idea.
Yeah.
I find peated to be such a dominant thing that it just overtakes everything else. You know, the molecule is just such a dominant thing that it overtakes all the fruit. You get fruit in it, of course, but
it's harder to dissect. Like, it's harder to think, right, this is this, because it is powerful, exactly like you're saying.
Yeah. And so behind us now, this is where the magic happens, yes? Can the camera see that, yeah? This is where all the magic happens. And you've got a beautiful view of it. At the moment you can't see them, but there are llamas. Oh, not llamas, alpacas, sorry, out there. And cute little animals. And so you've got a great view every day doing your work. And is there anything that we can expect in the future? The Netherlands is a country which is beginning to really embrace things outside of Scotland and Ireland. They're beginning to embrace it more. It took a while. We were really pushing it and trying, and now it's beginning to take on. I mean, people are beginning to realise, oh, wait a minute, Scotland's not the want-all, end-all of all whiskey. There's other places in the world too. And although you could probably walk to Scotland in a few hours from here.
Yeah.
But which doesn't matter, but in England, it is an English distillery. You're making your own mark, and different from others by what you've just told us, and these different fruit flavours. And we were talking during lunch just now about perfume, which is a great passion of mine. I love perfume. And the pyramid of flavours, and so you can actually get the top note and then the heart and then the base later on. Do you ever put it on your skin to smell and to try and detect the differences?
To almost change the perception of it.
Yeah.
I don't, but the studio almost allows us to change the perception because you can change the lighting from very warm light to very cool light.
Yeah.
You can change the air. You can like there's a fancy temperature control, so you can change everything, and that does definitely impact how we're making whiskey. Yeah. Because the environment, like you're saying, is hugely important.
Yeah.
And it definitely changes how you perceive those flavours.
Mm-hmm.
So normally when we're working, we'll be using just a standard kind of white light.
Yes.
But in certain stages of the blending process, Sarah might choose to have a much warmer light, a much warmer temperature or cooler temperature, and completely change the mood.
Yes.
But I personally don't almost use it as like a perfume, but I could see how that would change your environment so that you could perceive it differently.
Yeah. How cool is that? Huh? Look at that. And so I can see what the camera cannot see is that here there's
tons of samples.
Tons of samples. So you've got your work cut out for you, haven't you? It's amazing. And so you're the international. I know you're not in marketing. You're actually the producing. So, but the for the Dutch market, which this is basically for, I know it's a dangerous thing to say to generalize on a people, but it's not a good thing to do. But the Dutch do have a different temperament to, for example, the French or the Italians, and contrary to popular belief, Dutch people are very sober and down to earth people, almost Calvinist. Well, not even almost, absolutely Calvinist, except for the big cities, which gives it the name that everything's allowed and they've got no laws or something. But they've got this thing like no, this is the one, this is the only one. And so to you guys in Holland, I really would like to say to you, please give the Lakes a try. Now, that wasn't for no reason that a couple of years ago that they won best whiskey in the world, best single malt in the world, at the World Whiskey Awards. So more than worth a try, really, really a lot to be seen and to be smelled. And if any of you are ever around here, you really must come to this magical place. We did some B-rolls and still shots around the building, and it's really worth your while to come see and experience this beautiful, beautiful place. Not only the building and not only but all around it, the lakes. It's an absolutely beautiful place, and you'll enjoy yourself for sure. For the whiskey lovers among you, all of this is available, I can't say it enough, at the Better Liquor Store. The Better Liquor Store being the liquor store in the Netherlands who is a customer of Bresser and Timmer. They can order it for you. You can buy it. It should not be absent from your collection. If you have a lovely collection of whiskey and you like drinking it and you're not a flipper of the bottle, well worth the try. Absolutely. Everything I've tried here, with no exception, has been top notch. And it's really kind of you to receive us today. It's been so nice. Thanks very much. And I understand we can't really go in there with the camera, but it's an absolute wonder to be in its vicinity. So thank you very much, Grace. And is there anything you would like to say to the Dutch people?
Oh, I'm not sure. Now I'm put on the spot.
Yeah.
No, I really don't know.
Oh. Just say, come on, welcome.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if anyone is ever in the area, it is, like, I'm not necessarily from this part of England. I'm from quite, 2 hours away. But the Lake District as a place is just beautiful.
That is.
Like, as a holiday, it's just amazing. It might rain, but you get used to the rain. Like, that's fine.
You can always come here if it rains.
Exactly. Come here, stay inside.
Have a drink.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you very much, Grace. And,
no problem.
And thanks to all of you for the whole team here. We've been so warmly received. It's absolutely, it's overwhelming. Thank you very much indeed. And usually I end with Slan Shiva, but not now. We're in England. Just say cheers. Cheers to you until the next time. Bye-bye now.